Well, music was always an important part of my life. And not that I was proficient at it or anything, but it had meaning for me. And so you'll find that the songs that precede each chapter are songs of the times, but don't necessarily relate directly to the content. For example, the first chapter features Shirley Temple. She was my favorite character, as she was. Everyone at that time, there were Shirley Temple dolls and Shirley Temple dresses. And so if one expected something about Shirley Temple in the first chapter, they won't find it, because it was just my feeling about the song and what it represented. And then what was kind of interesting to me was how patriotic I get in the medley. I just retrieved the medley a couple of days ago. One of the tech people in the building helped me to untangle it from the internet morass, and it was interesting for me to be listening to the songs again, and what really struck me was the number of very patriotic songs, including "I Remember Pearl Harbor." I was sorry that I had not worked harder to link the narrative of the book with the songs, but it's there. It's in my heart.
That's great. The songs are very beautiful, and like you said, there is a lot of patriotic themes, because, and that might be with the music or art industry of that time producing those songs for people. Were there any other art influences or things that inspired you, whether it was a movie or a story or a radio show? What other pieces of art were important to you and do you feel like influenced you?
I think those songs represented what you are asking about, because they were not an interpretation of or a tweaking or of a song to match a chapter title or vice versa.
As a follow-up question to Jeanette, you were saying that in retrospect, you would have liked to have linked the songs to the content.
Mm-hmm.
And what information do you feel that could be included into the storyline had you done that?
Well, there were some that were occurred without any deliberation, but looking back now, I thought, that's pretty good. The one that comes to mind is "Don't Fence Me In," and as it turned out, it was a song that was popular when we were in camp, and it's just terribly appropriate.
And what about the ones that you, in retrospect, looking back, you realized that they were patriotic?
They were patriotic. Well, they were obviously patriotic, like "Let's Remember Pearl Harbor" and "You're a Grand Old Flag." It's one of the problems that existed in camp was the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance as a routine. And when I was a third grader, which is when Pearl Harbor occurred, we were old enough to begin to realize what we were saying and what was recited in the Pledge of Allegiance and what was the truth for us.
And were there any other pieces of media that was very influential, like the comic books or other things that you read at that time?
I think they were the superheroes and the society is revisiting a lot of the superheroes, like Billy Batson and how he converts into Captain Marvel. Do you know the story? And I thought Billy Batson finds this secret tunnel, and the powers that be teach him about Shazam. When he says Shazam, Billy Batson becomes Captain Marvel. And those were, I guess, fantasy stories which gave us hope, right?
What other forms of media, like radio,
Well,
were you listening to? What others?
before the war,
Yes.
we were, most kids, if they lived close enough to a movie theater, attended the Saturday matinees, which usually featured 2 movies and a serial. And the serial would be something like The Shadow, right? And a feature film would be like a Red Skelton movie, which was a purely slapstick. Actually, my memories appear to me like a movie. It's visual. I'm very visual, and so the memories are visual. And in order to write the book, I needed to translate the visual to the verbal, and so this is not a very good media for me. I'd rather draw you a picture. Well, one of the things is that very early in my life, I realized that there's a cultural difference between me and my friends, because I didn't live in Japantown, and my connection with the Japanese community was minimal. But when I was invited to my friend's house and for lunch, and she served rice with milk and sugar, that was a very strong image that made it into the book.